What's up, our squad? Welcome back. We are now officially in the year 2018, and what an exciting year it is going to be. I'm so pumped that you're here with us to be hanging out each and every Wednesday night at your R Squad house. As we approach 2018, there's a lot of different things that we could talk about, but there's one thing in particular, one thing that I want us to look at as we kick off 2018, and that is one word. Just one word. Before we get into all of that, before we get into what one word means, let's just back the train up a little bit. Let's talk about, who do you want to be in the year 2018? Like, what do you want to do in the year of 2018? Who do you want to be in the year of 2018? And how do you want to be different this year than you were last year? Let's put it this way. If someone was to make a Netflix series of your life this year, what would you want it to look like? A couple years ago, there was a show called Last Chance U that came on to Netflix. It was a documentary about a football coach and his program and how he took guys that had messed up and screwed up past and got them to be a championship winning team. When they shot this documentary, the coach, Buddy Stevens, didn't see anything of the first season until it was completely finished. When the first season was totally done and finished, after he saw it, he realized that he was incredibly embarrassed by the way that he was portrayed on camera. But the problem was, a lot of it was his own fault. See, Buddy Stevens realized the way that he talked to people, the language that he used, was absolutely awful. And friends and other people in the community turned around and they were embarrassed for and embarrassed by their football coach of their local college. Now, when he starts in season 2, what you see is this drastic and hard-pressed effort for him to change the way that he talks and change the way that he acts around people. But the problem was, there was too many things that he was trying to change at one time. He had all the intentions of being a better person between season 1 and season 2 of this show. But the problem was that there was too many things he was trying to fix. And the problem was he didn't focus in on one thing that would make him a better person. If this year a movie camera was on your life, what would you want it to look like? When we go to the Bible, we find a really interesting passage in the book of Psalms. And this passage is actually a psalm or a poem by Moses. So in Psalms chapter 90, verse 12, this is what Moses writes. He says, "So teach us to number our days so that we may gain a heart of wisdom." In other words, what Moses was trying to help us understand is that when we focus each and every day on the time that we have, that's how we gain a heart of wisdom. I want us to think of one word we can focus on each and every day so that we may become more wise to the things that God has for us. That we become more wise to the way to live our life. So we're making better decisions with fewer regrets. Now, Moses was a guy that understood a little bit about time. When you look at the timeline of Moses' life, it's a little different. See, Moses lived to be 120 years old. He spent the first 40 years of his life growing up in Egypt, in the house of Pharaoh. Then the next 40 years, he is pretty much running from Pharaoh because he killed a guy. Long story, but anyway, he ends up running away from Pharaoh for 40 years and he becomes a shepherd. Then after that, God chooses him to do something amazing and to free the people of Israel, and he finds himself wandering for another 40 years. So Moses really understood what it meant to make the most and to best use the time. And he said, simplify it down. Simplify it down to one day each day. One thing, one day. So here's what we need to do next. You got to determine what kind of person you want to become. And I'm talking, this has to be a little bit more beyond, I want to be healthier, I want to be wealthier. It comes down to kind of a soul piece. Really the inside, the heart of who you are. Who do you want to be in 2018? Now, a lot of times when I talk to people and I'm thinking, trying to help them understand this, I'll tell them this. Think about some people or a person that you really admire. that you look at and go, wow, that's somebody that I want to be more like as I get older. And then look at them and pull 2 or 3 characteristics from them and say, yeah, they have the characteristics of patience that I wish I had, or they're just so quick to forgive people, or they're kind. Look at those characteristics and then kind of take them and think through them and then pick one word that you're going to focus on to make yourself to be and to push yourself, to drive yourself to be a better person. And here's the second thing. I want you to prepare your mind for action. There's a significant part of setting our minds towards an action. As a matter of fact, another place in the Bible clearly tells us this. It says, be transformed. If you want your life to be changed, it starts with the renewing of your mind. Be then transformed by the renewing of your mind. So how are you going to renew your mind? How are you going to renew your life this year in 2018? Now, when you break off into your small groups, that's what you're going to talk about. What are some of the characteristics that may lead me to my one word? And next week when you come back, be ready to share your one word, and we're going to help you find a passage of scripture that puts it together for you so that you have an awesome and an incredible year.